Hello, mighty companions. Thanks for joining me for this week's weekly wisdom video. I'm not live on Facebook this week because I'm at a retreat for A Course in Miracles near Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. But I pre-recorded this video because I wanted to share the teachings of Dr. David Hawkins with you. Now, you may already be familiar with Dr. Hawkins. He was well known for teaching kinesiology and muscle testing, but that part of his teaching doesn't particularly interest me. I'm more interested in how he used A Course in Miracles and shared in a very practical way how it is connected with our emotional state. So I wanted to give you a little background on him, a little bio. He's passed away now, but Dr. Hawkins was born in 1927, and he served in the military during World War II, where he was trained as a medical doctor. And then later on, he had a practice in New York. But he had a very interesting awakening experience as a child. When he was 12 years old, he had a paper route, and he was out delivering papers in the wintertime in the snow, and he got caught in this huge snowstorm, a blizzard, and he could not make his way home. He was on a bicycle, and he holed up in this snowbank where he had the equivalent of I don't know if it was a near-death experience or just a very spiritual experience, but he went into a complete state of bliss, and he became completely disconnected from the personal self and knew himself to be Holy Spirit. Now, later on, he had a kundalini experience that supposedly lasted for 5 or 6 years. And in his later life, after practicing medicine, he went back to college in his 50s and got his PhD in health and human studies. But as a result of this kundalini awakening, he left his old life behind. He left New York. He moved to Arizona. He left his family. He got divorced, and he devoted himself to teaching spiritual principles. And one of the things that he did, in addition to writing many books, he's known for a book called Power versus Force, and another one called The Eye, This Eye of the Eye. And he even opened his own publishing company to publish his works called Veritas Publishing. The thing I want to focus on today is this chart, this graph that he came up with to describe human emotional states. And I have created or recreated it here for you today, and it's called the Map of Consciousness Levels. So these are the states of consciousness that every human can experience, and most of us have experienced most of these states at one point in time or another, but none of them seem to be lasting. It seems like we fluctuate from these lower negative emotions to these higher positive emotions and back and forth. And the vast majority of people in the world spend their time down here. So the very lowest emotional state that one can experience is a sense of shame. And that is, and you see numbers here on the side that correspond to each one of these states. So a sense of shame is, Dr. Hawkins gave it a rating of 20, and a sense of guilt 30, and then fear 50. Then we have desire, anger, and pride. And most of the world spends most of their time and their mental energy in this state. And this is the reason why the world is in the mess that it's in. This is why people fight. This is why we have wars. This is why we have attacking and defending. And then you see at this level of 200, we have courage. So courage, taking a leap of faith, being brave and having courage, is what allows us to escape from this quagmire of negativity and rise up into a higher state of consciousness. And I feel that dedicating oneself to their spiritual practice takes a great amount of courage when the world is telling you to do the complete opposite. When all the messages that you are getting from your family, from schools, from religions, from the government, from all of the forces out in society are telling you to focus on the external world, focus on your career, focus on your family, focus on making money, focus on acquiring things. These are the messages that we get constantly through marketing and through news and through the media. And it takes a great amount of courage to say to oneself, I am no longer going to listen to all of those messages. I am going to turn within and focus on my spiritual practice. That leap of courage will boost you up into this category. So at this higher level, between 250 and 400, we have neutrality, not taking sides, willingness, and if you're a student of A Course in Miracles, you know that it's all about willingness. It's not about effort. It's not about time. It's not about any other force than willingness, openness to receive the message. Then we have acceptance, and I talked about this in my last video about that lesson from A Course in Miracles, that workbook lesson that says, let all things be exactly as they are. That is acceptance. And then we have reason. So when we get to this point, we can look at all sides of the equation, not take sides, not be trapped in duality, but we can take a step back and say, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. From their particular viewpoint, they're right, and from another particular viewpoint, they're wrong. But I am going to rise above these duality, these judgments of duality, and be the witness, be the observer, not get caught up in the fray, rise above the battlefield, right? Now, we have another big leap right here at 500 that also requires a lot of momentum. So we build up. What happens for most of us as we get to a place where we are suffering, where we are tired of our life and always feeling bad, and that propels us to take this leap of courage and move up to the next level. But then we need momentum to propel us up to the next level. And this level of 500 is all about the love. So when we get to the point where we no longer want to be caught in the duality, taking sides, making people wrong, but we just want to love everybody, that allows us to rise above this level and get to the higher frequencies of consciousness, which are joy and peace. And then from 700 to 1,000, we have enlightenment. And this is our goal in life, to raise our consciousness until we can get to the point where we're living here all the time. And every once in a while, something may trigger you and make you dip back down. But when you've experienced this, you don't want to stay down here any longer. You realize there's no benefit to it, not to you or to anyone else in society, holding on to judgments and grievances. And so you do whatever it takes to rise back up here. And whatever it takes is typically forgiveness. And that is why A Course in Miracles is a guidebook to forgiveness, to letting go of our attachment to things, our attachment to our belief systems, and to be willing to be shown a different way and have a change in perspective and a shift in perception. So that's my message for you this week. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're seeing this on Facebook, I'm Teresa McGallagher, and I love you. Have a great week.